chicken, nom 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 nom, chicken, nom 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 nom. Sorry, I just had to do it. Hello, everyone. Taj here with the very first episode of season 2 of Late and Live with, well, me. I think I did that same joke for the first episode I ever did on community radio. So that's fun. Little bit of nostalgia creeping in. There's going to be lots of nostalgia coming from the show, actually. I can't speak. Bed's on fire. Don't touch me, I'm a real live wire. And that's a Talking Heads joke. I have no idea what I'm talking about. We have some people down to the comments section, including Wooden Railway Edward already. Thank you for tuning in so early. Wow, it's 2021, man. We made it. Not a lot's changed, except for the one number at the end, at least as of right now. It's the 18th of the year. Yeah, it does feel good to be able to start anew, to have, at least an illusion of separation from the past year. I hope that we all continue to make the progress that we have made in the past year, both on a personal and a community level. And hopefully that also includes some meetups. I feel like this whole past year, that ending quote from like the Shawshank Redemption has been going through my head, where it's like, I hope the Pacific Ocean is as blue as it is in my dreams. I wanted to see my friend, something like that. That's been the refrain that's been going through my head. I just want to go and see people, because this is, the past month's just been wonderful. I don't like to talk about myself on live streams. That's not true. But it's been really unique showing my face for the past month or so. And that just has made me feel so much more free. I realize now there's just, all of you people who are watching, all of you I consider my friends, really, because you just are always there for me. You're always supporting me. I truly appreciate it. Some of you were even watching me when I was only on my channel. Sorry, just need to take a little drink there. Water. I want to state water. But you're still here. You've been supporting me. And I just can't wait to meet a bunch of you all in person. With that being said, we have a comment from one of our guests right there who will be on the show very soon. Flying Scotsman Productions. When you get to meet him, you'll realize that he's a movie nerd. Well, that's true. That's true. I have a Letterboxd account. I shouldn't have said that. I'm not finished with rating all the films I've seen, but I have a Letterboxd account. So I think that pretty much solidifies that I'm a movie nerd. Just recently, I watched the Soviet version of War and Peace, like the whole thing. It's like, I think it's like 7 hours long or something like that. It's really good. You should actually check it out if you don't mind reading subtitles or, War and Peace. I have seen MacGyver. Somebody commented that in the chat. But yeah, I'd recommend that. I've actually been watching lots of them. I watched Being There for the first time yesterday, which was an amazing film. I'd highly recommend it. I'd seen Harold and Maude before then. Same director, Hal Ashby. But Being There, that masterpiece. It's a masterpiece. Wooden Railway Edward asks, how are you doing today, Taj? Well, thank you for asking. I'm doing well. All things considered. I've actually been in very good spirits for the past year. Past year? That's not true. For the past week. My goodness. This is kind of like a mixing up wedding and funeral kind of situation where these two words just seem to be interchangeable subconsciously for some reason. I've I've been doing lots of radio work. Not community radio, but just radio, which has just been an absolute blast. It's so weird. I don't know if this is true, I'm going to ask Roberto about it in a few, but I think I might be the first community member, first community radio member to actually have a radio show. And the funny thing is, they do it on Mondays. I mean, today's Monday, and originally my program was called Monday Night Live. So it's full circle. It's full circle. I just can't escape that name. But I'm not complaining, of course. I'm not complaining at all. It's just been great. I've been able to listen to lots more modern music. That's been one of my trappings. I like listening to older music. I was actually listening to a bunch of British dance band music from like the 1920s, 1930s earlier this week. Just scouting out songs for a project I'm working on with another individual, actually. I'll leave it vague. But also, now I've started diving into new releases, some of which are from, this year, and some of which are also from December of last year. I guess on my pursuit for greatness, I'd recommend Kiwi Jr. They released 3 really good singles last year, and they have an album planned to come out, I think, later this week, I think. I might be wrong. And a Monster Heart, which is like really cool, like new wave inspired indie pop. Bit like Blondie, Paramore, with a bit of that indie rock grit from like the 90s. So I those are my recs of the moment. They might change. They might change. And I'm not giving away the information for my show, I'm afraid, because I don't want people calling in request on the request lines trying to make me play the Island song over and over and over again, because I'd get fired so fast. But anyway, enough about me. This is also, I guess, if I'm correct, this is one of the first videos that has gone up on community radio during the year 2021. And man, there is so much planned for community radio just in the coming weeks and all of that. In fact, Lemmy just notified me earlier today that a new character gallery is in the bag. And also, I want to state that we are going to be looking through lots of the show submissions in the coming weeks or so. That's at least what I've been told. Not in charge, once again. Like, who would put me in charge of anything? But I'm amusing myself too much. But yeah, we're going to take a look at those. I've watched some of the pilot episodes, the show submissions. They're really good. They're really good. So I really would be excited to get some of them on there and just know that we're doing this, and I'd love to have some of you on as well. I don't think it's in the description for this video, but on the description of pretty much any other video on community radio, there are surveys that you can fill out to be on any program that you want. That being, this program, or Percy's Ever Present Past, or Thomas Battles. They're doing some really great stuff over there. Just pretty much any show you want to. I think you can even submit to be a guest on programs that are not currently taking guests in the fill in the blank section. But make sure to do that. I'd love to talk to some of you, all of you wonderful people, especially those who are just being so creative and are pouring so much love into community radio. It really means so much to all of us. And it means a lot to me. I'm just going to say it right there. It means a lot to me. I don't know what that's worth, but it means a lot to me. Man, first 10 minutes and my throat's already getting dry. I'll gurgle. I think that might be disgusting. I don't know, but just will prove that I'm drinking water. So I'm just going to do a little one. Yep, that was disgusting. But anyway, enough of being disgusting. The time has come to introduce my very first guest. He's a good friend of mine, friend of the show. He submitted a form to be on the program, I believe last, I think it was in either November or October. I said that the wrong way around, but you get my gist. He's one of the best up-and-coming creators in the community and has just such a knack for writing stories and all these different technical things that we're going to discuss in just a while. So it's my honor to introduce Mr. Flying Scotsman Productions. How are you doing?
Correction, I am the best up-and-coming user.
I can't confirm this once again. This is why we have the warning at the beginning of the show, because I could very well think this, but if I say that this is the case, then nobody else is going to come on the show. So I need to make that stipulation. But yeah, you are fantastic. All joking
Thank
aside.
you. Yes, thank you. I'm doing well. Yeah, I sent my submission in when you did. Oh gosh, it's when you did the one with Epic Entertainment Film. So yeah, I sent my submission in 4 months ago.
Oh yeah, wow. And I guess that gets to one of the points I was getting to.
No.
No. I need to share some of these comments because I don't know if the chat saves. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. I don't know. Also, it looks like both Wooden Railway Edwards are here. I'm a bit late on that.
There's one imposter among us.
I don't know. I kind of feel like an imposter most of the time. Anyway, I'm talking my head off. You've met up with Epic Entertainment Films a few times. Am I correct?
Well, once.
One time.
Yeah. Yeah, I met up with him. That's when I ended up bringing both my Knapfords to his house, and that's how he got the 2 extra Knapfords for his Tatmar film.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we filmed all the Knapford scenes. We were gonna try and film. If any of you have seen my episode Fiddlesticks, we were gonna try and at least film the mountain scene and the shed scenes, but we just ran out of time because I was coming home from Michigan, and I had another 8-hour drive left, so I kind of had to, so we kind of had to cut the meetup short. So we didn't have time to finish filming those, but yeah.
Well, that's the way it often goes, to be honest, because I know from my experience, or at least from hearing from others on community radio, they had a bunch of programs planned to film at Shining Time 2019. But of course, it's a meetup, and when people are having a great time, the last thing anybody wants to say is, "Hey, let's work it now." But you do some fantastic work with Epic Entertainment Films. Numerous episodes of your series have been co-written with him. How is that relationship between you two unique compared to writing by yourself?
Well, I think I've said this to you in a call before, Taj, but I hate writing by myself. If you guys look at my series, the 2 weakest episodes of my series, which are episode 1 and episode 4, are the ones that I've written by myself.
Stuff and nonsense. But continue, please.
Anyway, in my opinion, they're the weakest. But yeah, so he helped me adapt the stories, Tenders, Turntables, and Tizzies, and yeah, he helped me adapt the 2 stories that went into that. He actually wrote all by himself. He wrote Percy and the Special Mail Delivery. Then I went through and made a little changes. And he and I both co-wrote Fiddlesticks.
Yeah, and all of these are really good episodes. I gotta be honest. And I know I say that all the time, so it almost lacks meaning. But in reality, like every time I bring on someone, like I always rewatch their content, and I'm like, wow, this is really good stuff. And I guess one of the things that really stands out for me is like how you interpret the characters in a very unique television-like fashion. How would you say you go into a episode and like characterize certain characters? Like, how do you distinguish them from each other? Some tips, I guess, for people who are
Uh,
listening.
well, usually with my episodes, it's usually one core story that I have an idea for, and then I go to somebody to write it with, and then basically we figure out like, okay, what characters would be good for this situation. Um, Peter Sam Studio says, I voice a certain stout gentleman who happens to be the railway controller in FSP series. Yes, Sam Studios. And speaking of Peter Sam Studios, me and him are co-writing an episode that may be coming within the next few months. Just depends how long it takes us to finish scripting and me to film and edit. But yeah, so generally, I try and just come up with a basic story, and then with me and the co-writer, we figure out, okay, which character would be best for this situation. Like with Doncaster Love, that was like, I sat down and I was like, okay, this is a good story idea, but what characters would be good for this, and what character has a brother? And then immediately it's just like Gordon.
Yeah, and it just works like so well because it has just this. Once again, I know it sounds weird, but it does have that classic series slash railway series vibe. And honestly, you know, it reminds me a lot of those stories and how those relationships are built, where it almost feels like the characters are informing what stories you're telling, opposed to the stories informing, how the characters act, which I think is a very, very, very good thing.
Yeah, and in the episode Divide and Conquer, that was just springboarded off of, okay, Scotsman's on Sodor now, and then I was like, okay, what could we do with this? Because I kind of want to make this a two-parter style, and then I realized, because basically, Divide and Conquer was based off just like two random one-off lines from Nick TF89, who plays Flying Scotsman. If you look on his channel, his audition for me is public, and at the end, he says, "Good luck, little brother. Try not to explode." And then also at the end of him doing lines for Doncaster Love, he also said, in the script it says, "Engines head to sheds and episode ends." But Nick also said in the lines when he was recording them, he said, "Oh, I thought that said head to shed and explode." And that kind of gave me the idea, what if Gordon and Scotsman work together to stop a runaway train that if it crashes, it will explode. So just off those two one-off lines for him, that gave me the whole idea for Divide and Conquer.
And it really adds like the dynamic between those characters, in particular the relationship between Flying Scotsman and Gordon. Then on top of that, adding Percy to the mix, and how like those I guess levels of maturity almost would be the ways I'd phrase it. The ways I phrase it. What the heck? The way I phrase it. Once again, radio personality Taj Mahal here again. Um, but it just adds like I think I said this in an episode of Thomas Battles, but it adds it hypercharges the characters. It hypercharges the characters, so like every single one of them has their own, like their personalities are made stronger based on these interactions, and that goes into the next stories. And that is so railway series. I just cannot just that's brilliant. I love it.
Yeah, I think those are my two best episodes, and those were written with the amazing Edward Bachman 12.
Oh
You
yeah.
guys should go check him out. He's very underappreciated. He doesn't make that much content, but the content he makes is really good.
Oh yeah. I'm gonna put them in their tag in the description.
Yeah.
Or URL.
Yeah, guys. Yeah. Trying to think. Yeah, so I went with him for the second episode because he helped me write the first one, and that one turned out so good. And for some reason, Divide and Conquer was my most viewed episode. Within 4 days, it shot up to 1,000 views, which is a lot for me. And I think it's currently at 1.3K.
Yeah, it is there. I think it's like one of your top like viewed videos, along with like your break, my stride.
Yeah,
Um,
and yeah, Break My
and there's
Stride.
one other I think that was above. Oh, let me look. I have the website right up. Once again, professional right here. It's
Oh my,
Reverend W. Audrey review all of the Bad Thomas specials. You know, and
no, I don't like that video because just my voice is so young and annoying.
Yeah. I don't know if I ever shared this with you. But we're gonna get to talking about voice actors, so I guess it's applicable. Um, I I've worked with Mr. MPS for many, many years now. Back in 2013, he had a series that was broadcasting or being uploaded at the time. It got up to like I think part 2 of Cody Crosses the Border, um, and we're gonna probably talk about that maybe in like a half hour or so. I'm not entirely sure, but he needed voice actors. I believe it was the first series of his where he got voice actors. So I auditioned for him, and I did Duncan and George, and the video is still up on my channel unlisted, and it's just the most embarrassing crap ever, for lack of a better term. It's just
is no good. Turn him in the roads.
Yep, and like this is my like Duncan's like Peter Sam, it sounded like this. It didn't even sound, Scottish or anything. It sounded really angry like that.
Oh man, if you've seen the Cedric Legends video when Enterprising was playing Smudger, he's like, this has got to be the worst effing migraine I've had since last Tuesday. You got any better music? And then Scarlet Fire starts playing. Ah, he's just,
yeah, I sounded a bit more like Wazowski. That was
Wazowski. Yeah,
that's what my Duncan voice was.
Oh man.
But you have lots of people who are very good voice actors working on your show. How did you like it's kind of almost an all-star lineup in a way. How did you get that how do you cast voice actors? Do you go off of auditions, or do you just watch videos and be like, yeah, that person would be great?
So I've had a couple auditions. Yeah, I've had a couple auditions. Like Nick TF89, I asked him, and he's like, "Yeah, I'll send you an audition." Or Flying Thistle Studios, if you're watching, man, I still am waiting on your Henry audition, which you said you'd send to me last week, 2 weeks ago. Anyway, but yeah, I think Flying Thistle Studios is gonna play Henry for me. But when I was basically thinking for my series, I just kind of went off friends I had, like Peter Sam Studios. I had been talking to him. He's like, "Oh, I can do a good Sir Topham hat," and I was like, "Okay, you can do that." Sodor Works. Him and Wooden Railway Edward were the two first people I ever met in the community. So Sodor Works, I had him play Gordon for the first episode. Thomas 1942. I had asked him to play James. Me, I was Thomas because I didn't really know Will or Epic Entertainment Films yet. Gordon Fan 04 was supposed to be the narrator for season 1, but then I decided to kind of go Turtles Erdl style and have a different one for each episode.
I was just about to ask about that, if that was the influence.
I just kind of, I had to play Thomas. Splendid Wolf 442, he played Henry, which, I really liked their voices, but at the same time, I'm not really into that kind of like the deep Henry voice, like I don't like Henry's like deep voice. I like the style of voice that the buried truck gives him,
Mm-hmm.
like that. Gosh, I'm trying to think of a good example, but yeah, you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, I get it.
Wooden Railway Edward, he plays Edward. and the freaky railway inspector, Mr. Percival. Oh, that guy. Yeah. Then after a while, let's see. Yeah, it was mainly friends, but then when it came to Percy, I was like, just because gosh, what's the title? Tenders, Turntables, and Tizzies. That one.
Yep.
I'd been like, okay, Epic, you can just do both Thomas and Percy, which was fine. But then I was like, oh man, if it's an episode focused on just Thomas and Percy, it's just gonna get really confusing. I was like, okay, I need to get a new voice actor. And Epic had actually just introduced me to Enterprising, so we had just called, and then like I just messaged him. I was like, hey, would you want to? Because he played Percy for the TCC, and I was like, hey man, would you want to play Percy for my series? And he was like, sure, I'd love to. So normally now I just send like a Google Docs link over Discord, and I was like, I just let them know, because sometimes people play multiple characters like drivers or something. I just let them know what character, and then yeah, I just kind of give them a deadline, and they just send me the lines. Oh yeah, Useful Engine 11 play Scarloey.
There we go. And yeah, I noticed that you have like once again with your narrators. I was like, man, you got Matt to do this. This is great, because it's just, these are people that once again I know. Of course, I know him because he's on community radio as well. And it just adds this great dynamic to the stories. And it's actually really well mixed, I must say. Because there's certain people who, especially in the early days of voice acting, all like the different lines were at different levels. While you kind of are able to, make it like a consistent volume unless there's emphasis on a certain line.
Yeah, that's what I try and do the best.
Yeah, and you do very well at that. Another thing you do well at, not just to make this, just a bombardment of praise, but your tracking shots, quite literally, your shots that follow engines on track.
Oh.
You do a very good job with that. How do you do that, actually?
Well,
I'm a bit...
like, give me an example of certain shots, because they're done different ways.
I'm not necessarily talking about like, there's certain close-ups where you do on locomotives, like on the Flying Scotsman's tender, for example, where
it's just kind of shaking the camera.
You're shaking the camera. I'm more referring to like where like there's like a chase scene or you're following an engine and then the camera follows along with them, and you can see the background change.
Oh, so well, sometimes I do green screen, but I try and refrain from that. Let's see. Well, with in the big chase scene with Scott, in the big chase scene in Divide and Conquer, when the trucks went down the hill, I just had them braced up behind like a... Oh gosh, I'm blanking. Sorry, I've had a long day. I'm just trying to think.
Don't worry.
So I had about a 12 piece of 2x6 wood for when Percy's train breaks away. And then what I did is I went like about to the middle of the 2x6, and the track was actually on a hill. So I put just the front two wheel set over the edge of the track. Then I hit record, and I had a piece of track in my hand, and I threw it and hit the edge of the track, which basically just created enough movement to get the train to kind of like the front car to lift it up. Then just gravity did it, and I just kind of followed it with the camera.
Ooh, and it's so interesting to hear how all you people, do these things, because I know, for example, that Enterprising does it different from you, and when Edward Alba was more active, he did it different from Enterprising. Everybody had their own unique style of doing this, so it's just so interesting to find out the technical aspects behind the process. Not to completely change streams, but I guess there's a question that I typically ask guests. I used to do it at the beginning of every segment, but now I've realized, I want to make it a little less boring, so I just sneak it up on you. But how did you discover the Thomas community?
How did I discover the Thomas community? Okay, so way back when my mom was pregnant with me in the old 2006. No, I'm kidding.
She was watching episodes by Tom Dublin, and that was the start of it.
Watching Downton Abbey, and let's see. I'm trying to think. Okay, so when I was little, I would always, when I was at my grandparents', I'd just like watch the iPad as any little kid would do. And then I was always kind of interested in Thomas as a kid. And I always used to come up with these like classic videos. Like if you go onto YouTube, if you guys open another tab and just search nostalgic Thomas and Friends videos.
Nostalgic Thomas Friends video. Yeah, there we go.
There's like a playlist. Just if you hit the first one, it's by Prairie Productions. Let's see. There's like
Island of Silver Films 2021 down there, which is like 100 videos. My goodness, this is gonna be nostalgic.
This one, there's like, it starts out with like Marvelous Mighty Mac, or like, there's a 14-second one called Lady Thomas and Diesel 10 HO. I'll put the link to the.
I'll put it in the comments section of the chat.
I'll do the same. Do you have that same one by Prairie Productions?
There we go. I got the Prairie Productions one right there in the chat.
Okay, yeah. So if there's that one, there's all these really like nostalgic videos that I always used to watch, like Thomas and the Killer Cars. If you ever heard of the user called Trains, like Thomas and the Missing Cakes, Thomas Makes a New Friend, Thomas Delivers the Christmas Candy, like all these really old videos, like Transformers. You remember that one?
Diamond Tug. I know Diamond Thomas and Cactus and Thomas Tank Engine.
A bunch of Leo Kim videos.
Oh man, we're going back.
Car Door 33, a couple Milk Tanker Media, Curly 34.
Oh man,
there's the classic one. This one's classic. The Take Along Thomas movie, Diesel 10's Revenge. It's like 10 minutes long. Oh gosh, I haven't seen that. It has over 4 million views, that video. The classic Accidents Happen. Season 1, Episode 2, Gordon and the Diesels by Milk Tanker Media.
Oh man, like these are all these classics.
All of these super nostalgic videos. And like, anyways, I would watch like all these kinds of videos like on the iPad, and I was like, oh, okay, these are awesome. And then eventually I started watching like users like Leo Kim, Thomas Wooden Railway, Enterprising. And I was like, there's a whole community. So back in 2015, I transformed my dad's just kind of Google account into my channel. And it's kind of funny. You know how like all the users, kind of like a bunch of users now are just trying to like hide their name and stuff because of privacy reasons.
Yeah.
Like you're hiding your name because of privacy reasons. And but you're showing your face and stuff. But it's like, I was like that. But my dad was like, I wanted to call myself Thomas Wooden Railway, which obviously
was taken.
My dad was like, no, you have to put your name. I was like, I don't want to put my name. Anyway, so I made my channel called Thomas Wooden Railway. I want to try and refrain from using my name. It's public, but I don't really like saying it. Anyway, so it was like Thomas Wooden Railway and then my name. I did a bunch of videos on my dad's iPhone 5. Just like, I literally just recorded the clip and uploaded it directly to YouTube, no editing.
Oh.
Then there were like really weird videos. Like my first one was a Burt review because I had just gotten the Wooden Railway Burt, which I still have. Then I just started doing all the crappy, weird videos. Like there's one of it's like just, and they're dumb too. It's like there's like videos of like me jumping on the couch or like scaring my mom. It's so dumb. They're like Lego stop motions. I hated it. So back in like 2019, I saw my channel. I was like, okay. And like I'd had this like $20 like eBay China camcorder thing. It was a mess. So I like, okay, want to actually make good videos, good content. I didn't know anybody in the community at this point. I was like, okay. So I deleted all my videos, thankfully. My mom was so mad. She's like, I love those. And I was like, well, too bad. Anyway, so yeah, I deleted all those and then brought all my wooden railway to my grandparents and then built a huge layout in my room. Well, it wasn't a layout. Basically, what I would do is I would make sets with all my track. No, Wooden Railway Edward, they are not saved. Wooden Railway Edward also said, "Stop giving me nostalgia whiplash."
That's true. Like it's just like you remember YouTube when like you could like change your background and like it was like more like a MySpace, right?
Yeah. And anyway, so I started recording video. I made some weird videos. The first one was called Scotsman Gets a New Shed. Ugh, I just hate saying that. Anyway, so I made that. I wrote the script. It was like, anyway, I made a bunch of weird videos just on the carpet in my room at my grandparents'. Then Copper rolled around. I got really scared, deleted all those, and then
Oh.
I just kind of disappeared. But then once like kind of Kappa mellowed out and Key Christ came back and even had comments, I was like, this is when I was somewhat mature. So I was like, oh, okay, now I know how to make decent content and stuff. So when the Don't Stop music video was trending, it was just like late at night, and I was like, okay, why not? So I sat down for about 6 hours. I didn't finish till like 4 a.m. filming. I filmed the Don't Stop remake music video. And posted it. I was like, it's okay. This is like way back when I had it's like back when I had
I think it actually was like exactly a year ago because like that video, I remember like looking it up. I was like, that was uploaded on January 20th of 2020. So you'd probably be working on that video right now if we went back a year. Don't worry, we won't. But yeah.
Thankfully, let's see. It says 11 months ago. Let's see. January. It was uploaded on January 20. Yeah, and then you can see the string. That's so bad. Yeah, I guess it was a Saturday night that year though. My set stunk.
I wouldn't say that. You know, like all sets have character. You know,
It's literally green plywood with a blue painted wall and paper covering the outlet.
You know, it's got style. It's got style. I bet Rudy could like come in with like some more like more accurate like criticisms, but Dustin is not currently available at the moment.
Yeah, no. Yeah, it's I'm playing it right now. I should mute it, but yeah, with those tracking shots that you're talking about, since this was on a piece of plywood, I just kind of slid the camera. I had this really old. I had this. No, it wasn't old. I had this. It was a Canon SX 740. I think it was. Yeah, it recorded in 4K, but the quality wasn't that good when it comes to being on the set. So, anyway, yeah, I started making videos for a while. Let me go to my channel. I recorded my videos on that camera all the way up. Let's see. I did Birdie's Chase remake, the works. Anyway, so on those videos, I recorded that all the way up till my Thomas Meets Heroes Wooden Railway clip remake and the Coaling Plant train spotting video. All those were filmed on that, and then my dad gave me this really, really nice camcorder. It's a Sony. I forget what it is. It's a really good Sony camcorder, and I still use it right to this day. I think it's in my backpack though in the car. But anyway, yeah.
That's honestly, that's like about like the best like answer like you could have given to that question. Like that was like a journey made. And you know,
Yeah.
honestly, I covered like a bunch of questions I would have asked anyway. So I'll leave you with this last one. Are there any upcoming projects you'd like to discuss or promote?
That's really ironic. That's really ironic because you know about like almost half of them.
Almost half
But
of them.
the
And I'm
audience
working on
You know about almost half of them because, well, some really good stuff is in the works. Me and Taj are working on a project. It's gonna be good. You guys have no idea. It has so many plot twists. It has some emotion. It's gonna be good. It's in really early production, but it's gonna be good.
I have a feeling that it's like I just it's been so long since like I've written something on this level, and so it just feels like with like anyone, it feels like I'm writing with MPS again, and that's like the highest praise I can possibly give someone because MPS was a clever cool cat, as I guess one would call
I've
him.
never
I don't
seen an MPS fit.
Okay. Time to put bring back 2002 vids in the chat again. Um,
I've never seen a Mr. MPS 2002 video.
who the hell is
Okay.
one railway only? Oh, sorry. Just another throwback to Blue Midwest Mysteries right there. But
Nor do I
yeah,
listen to Blue Midwest Mysteries.
those are like, yeah, there's like those, some of his crossovers, and of course Grease and Oil, which I love. I've been rewatching that a lot
Grace
as
and Oil.
Grease and Oil. Like every single day when I wake up, I have Birdland by Weather Report stuck in my head because of Grease and Oil. But I don't complain because I like jazz fusion. Um, but
Passion Pit's the way to go, man.
yeah, but you just recently posted a trailer for Edward's Christmas Carol. When could we be expecting that?
Oh, man. I posted a thing about it. So it's ridiculous. It's 128 gigs of footage. It's a good 128 gigs of footage. It's in 4K. I'm on my laptop. It's slow. Editing's taking a while, but guys, it's gonna be amazing. It's a collab with Vincente22. Taj has read the script. I actually haven't asked you what you think of it.
Oh,
You
it's
read the
very
script,
good.
right?
I mean, like if you're involved and Vincent's involved, it's
Vincent, yes.
it's bound to be really good. Like I've just been like so hyped for Bad Influence. Like I've been like I'm like turning into like a hyper fan. Like I'm like a stan now, where it's like how is work going on that? I'm like the Thomas community equivalent of like an Apple scruff. Roberto would probably get that reference, but little George Harrison humor for all y'all.
It's really good. It's going good. Yeah, everything's been filmed. I think. Yeah, I'm gonna need a while to edit. It's in widescreen. I edited. I think it was yesterday. I edited the scene where the first ghost visits Edward. Oh, I probably just gave it away. Yeah, it's a rewrite of a Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens. Hello,
Yeah.
James is here.
It's not Tale of Two Cities. No need to worry.
Yeah, but yeah, it's pretty good. It's taken a while, but yeah.
Well, all worthwhile things take a while, except for running. If you fasted running, then that's a
yeah.
good thing.
My goal is to get it out before Tatmar Christmas parody. That's my goal.
Yeah, and you have there's also like the Tatmar rewrites that you're working on with Epic, but I'm going to hold off on that once again because I want something to talk about next time you're on. By the way, I'm planning on doing 2 live streams per month. So hopefully that means I can get on more of you wonderful people and maybe even bring some people back. Because it's just been so great getting to know all of you, especially you during the past year. Because it's I just like I remember the first time you reached out to me, I was like, oh yeah, that's the guy who makes the really cool series. And
I didn't know you knew about me. Then you just told me. Oh gosh.
well,
Oh no.
I discovered you through Epic or Will, and it was just great. I loved it. And then when you messaged me, I was like, oh, even better. But anyway, thank you for being on. Thank you for being on. He'll be back in about 30 to 40 minutes now, it looks like, for the roundtable discussion plus Thomas Trivia Challenge. So anyway, thank you for. Oh, sorry.
No problem. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, thank you so much for being on, and talk to you very soon.
I will see you guys. I just have one more thing to say. Robert sucks.
Oh, dang, man, that where did that come from? Well, I knew where that came from. It came from comments in the chat way earlier at 6:18 and 6:19. I mean, look at this. Look at this. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. The absolute lack of decorum. Then again, I did say sing the chicken song at the beginning of the live stream as a throwback. Talking about throwbacks, this is a person who both is a throwback and in the best way possible and plays lots of throwbacks on his radio show on Tom's the Tank Engine Community Radio. Wow, that was smooth. On Roberto's Records, I'm of course talking about the impeccable LNERFlyingScotsman. How are you doing?
Am I here? Are we doing this right now?
We're doing this right now. We're absolutely right here.
Oh, okay, perfect.
So, how are you feeling?
Oh my god, let me tell you. My ability to wake up at a certain time has never been more fine-tuned than today. I woke up at 4. I set an alarm for 4 p.m., right? So I can wake up and, maybe watch the stream a little bit beforehand. And then I went back to sleep. And I looked at my clock. It was 5:11. Oh my goodness. I am missing the stream right now.
So are you here to confirm FSP's comments? Because your actions are certainly don't worry. It's great. It's live. Like Keith Moon passed out in the middle of a concert, needed to be replaced with like a stand-in drummer. I think it was like Palace Palace. So yeah, you're doing just fine. I have one question to ask. Well, I have more than one question, but I have a question that I'd like to ask first. And it's a question that I think has been probing a lot of people's minds for the past 10 years or so. Do you actually suck at math?
I want to say yes, because ever since the last 10 years, I was first off, in how we do things in California is that there's 7th grade math, which even if you get an F in that, you move on to the next level of math, which, if you do good in it, I think it's Algebra 1 or something, but I think I was in Algebra 1 Concepts in 8th grade, and I passed that one. Next, they move you into regular Algebra 1, and I was in there until 10th grade, because in 9th grade, we had our teacher originally for Algebra 1. She was on maternity leave at the time, and she had a substitute subbing, but I was our class was so chaotic that I'm pretty sure we made the substitute quit teaching that class, and probably any class that she was having the following semester around November. So our semester ends in December, and like he quit with like a month left to go in the semester. Because one day we tried to go to the classroom, it was locked, and then and then somebody came to find us and sent us to a different classroom. We were with a different teacher for the rest of the first semester. And then after that, we actually got a new permanent teacher. I don't know how it worked out, but if you failed the first semester and you got a C or higher in the second semester, then you automatically move on to the next math, which is geometry. But since I got Fs because I was just not paying attention, it was so hard to actually focus with the real teacher in the second semester, because everything you learn in the first semester, you know, like all math books do, you apply later. So I couldn't apply anything because I didn't learn anything, and I guess, I don't know. So let's just say I was in Algebra 1 again in 10th grade, where I actually got A's both times because I finally understood algebra, because I took it during summer school, but I didn't complete the semester because I went to Mexico on a family vacation. So I had to be back in the following school year. So in junior year, I was in geometry, which is the next level of math, and the last one that you have to complete in order to graduate. And luckily, I was only in there for one school year because I don't know, really. I think I finally got an understanding of it. I actually did the homework. My math teacher was absolutely horrible. He was the worst teacher I've ever had in any public school, grade school, the worst one. I think he actually ended up getting fired for punching a student a few years ago.
Oh dear.
He had anger issues. Oh man.
Most math teachers do, though. I mean,
right. And I remember the final of the class. I only had, they do final schedule weird. They do your first two classes on one day, your middle two on the second day, and your last two classes of your schedule on the last day, which is the last day of school. And I had a Spanish class, which we were doing nothing for our final because we were awesome. So I didn't bring anything. I didn't bring a backpack. I just brought a pencil for the math exam. So that means I didn't have a calculator. So I had to do all these calculations by hand. And then during the exam, I'm like mentally preparing myself to retake geometry senior year. But I didn't. I passed.
man, good.
So I can go on about the rest of my math experience, but let's just say it took me 3 semesters to do Math 101. Or I did take this. No. It did take me 3. I because the first time I tried to do the self-paced one, I'm like, okay, we'll do the self-paced. I realized I'm not so good at keeping myself accountable for doing the work in a self-paced class, because you teach it yourself and you're the teacher. So I dropped it. Took it in the spring semester, got a D. Took it the fall semester of 2017, I got a B. And then I breezed my way through stats class, because you have to take either calculus or stats next, thanks to a friend and a teacher who did not care, and I was able to actually absolutely cheat off him at every single test. And we convinced the teacher at the end for our penultimate test before our last test before the final, to have it a group quiz so we can work with a partner. I coasted through math, and now I don't have to do any math in my major. There, long-winded story. I do suck at math.
Well, now we have the official answer, I guess. After
The
all
official
these
answer.
years, most people who are watching this stream are probably going to be like, they're going to be like, that was a rude question to open on. They're not going to understand that it came from your series, Percy the Small Tank Engine and Friends.
Well, geez, I think it was kind of rude for this Flying Scotsman Productions to all of a sudden say Robert sucks. I don't know what he's got against Winter Railway Reviews, but
yeah, I have no idea. It looks like Percy is might be the one provoking all of this.
Now that is hate mail. Boo Roberto. Yes.
I forget, I was just watching all the community radio videos for the supercut at the end of the year. There was one video, I think, where Solomon said, we're getting so much hate mail. Something like that. Solomon's just always just hilarious. I'm just gonna say that right now. It doesn't have anything to do with anything, but yeah. You have some very interesting relationships with some of your teachers, especially I guess relating to Wigger Wednesday. What's the origin of that?
So that's stemming from me not paying attention in class. That is my chemistry teacher from 10th grade. I was the way he had his whatchamacallit, his classroom layout set up is that it's it's one of those like party tables, like those foldable tables,
Oh yeah.
but obviously like not like for school. We didn't have foldable tables at school. Please, I went to a pretty good school. So there was 2 people per table, and then the beginning of the second semester, my best friend at the time, and he's still my best friend, actually. That's the power of friendship. You meet your friends in middle school or high school.
Absolutely.
He got moved to a different class period for Mr. Wigger. I believe it was second period. I don't know if it had to do with him. No. We were already in sports together. I don't know why they moved his schedule, because for me, your schedule is always the same. You get the schedule on the first day of school, on the first day of the second semester. It's normally the same schedule, but like 0.5% of the chance it will switch to something different. I have no idea why. Like the class will get switched around.
It might have something to do with like I know when I was in school. Well, I'm in college now, but that's a different thing. Like you had, it was mostly relating to music students, actually, and like how to fit in like gym credits. So like there are people who had like they were in orchestra and then they needed to have gym the other day, or they were in band and they had to do gym the other day, which meant that the schedule needed to shift around. But I was one of the lucky ones. I just worked out at home because I was in both orchestra and band, and on top of that, the concert choir, which was like a different group entirely.
Geez. But at my school, you do have to be in. You have to do 2 years of gym, normally 9th and 10th grade.
Oh yeah, I
But
need to do
music
that.
was an elective, so even if you do like have to switch off, there was no switching off in my school. Just put it that way.
And of course, the rest is history on Twitter. It's become so iconic. Wigger Wednesdays. I ask that because I know you brought it up in one of your live streams, one that did happen on Wednesday, but it might be just great. It's good to have this information out there in as many places as possible. At least that's my side
right.
of the story.
So let me continue, because I didn't really finish answering the question.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
It's
I'm
all
so bad.
good. I thought you were gonna segue into something else, and I'm like, wait, hold it right there, partner. It ain't time for that yet. So then like he had a very expressive face, and then every time in the Skype call was after school, I'd be like, yo, I got this chemistry teacher, and he's so funny, just because of his face, and nobody would, and like also the person who was sitting next to me for the first semester was not there in the second semester at all. I don't know if I mentioned that. So it's more of that schedule moving around. And so then like I had this whole table to myself, and I sat in the back of the classroom. Nobody was behind me. So literally I could do basically whatever I wanted.
And
so I
you
just
did.
sometimes whipped out the phone and pretended to take pictures of the slides behind him, or just nonchalant, because I sat in the back. It was like a row layout, so really he had to look behind 3 different people to see me. And normally he was very into the math and looking at the students, asking questions. So it just made perfect cannon fodder to make an archive of pictures of my chemistry teacher. If that sounds really weird, it's because now it is weird, but I made them into memes, which were very enjoyable back then, and are still now, because I made a campaign promise when they elected me president to bring back Wigger Wednesday for the duration of my term in office.
for the children, really, for the youth of the community. President Roberto just setting such a great example for the youth of America today.
Oh yes.
But you were talking about some of your friends earlier on, and I'll get to some of your more your Thomas friends or your friends in the Thomas community. But I guess this is an interesting question to ask. But how did you get into the Thomas community? And I'll bookend it with how did you get out of the Thomas community?
So how did I get into the community? Well, let's see. I'm going to have to say, and everyone says this, but it was HGJPTDDDO on his Thomas Winter Railway account. Because, okay, for some reason with YouTube, and back then, because normally I didn't go on the computer every day and, sit here until my eyes getting affected by blue light. But, like, every now and then when I would go on YouTube, I would somehow end up either with the video game stuff, and then once in a while, like maybe, I don't know, like once every 4 months, I'd get into watching Thomas videos. And then, all of a sudden, like, it's like the YouTube algorithm, if it was working back then, would start suggesting me other videos, or I would stop watching the Thomas videos, but I was come back to it 8 months or 4 months later. And then the first channel I remember like really getting into actually was Waylenator. Like he had a series and all that, and I thought, man, I could do that. Like sometimes he would like show, like put his camera like on a tripod, and film the episodes like Kikray would. But I do remember seeing Kikray's videos as well. But like Waylenator was like, I could do that. That looks fun to do. I mean, I don't have a video camera around me. I can try to look for one. But then again, it was something that like I was like maybe 10, 11 at the time, and going in through these cycles of going on to the Thomas YouTube. And then when I was 13, I finally decided, okay, you know what? I'm going to make a channel. And I made a layout. I recorded the video on a very, very old camcorder that we probably still have. It's one of those that has like an angled viewing lens, so you can like put your eye to it and you can see what the camera is recording, or you can open up the screen and see it that way. Like you have like one of those screens you can open up, but like you had two ways of viewing things. So that's how old the thing was, and I couldn't figure out how to get the audio or the video files onto the computer, so I just kind of let that dormant. And actually that was on a completely different channel called New Thomas Adventures, because at the time Kikray wasn't doing anything on YouTube, and so I'm like, oh, the New Adventures of Thomas and Winter Owen and Friends or something like that.
Yeah,
that's what it would have probably named my series if I continued it, but I'm kind of glad I didn't. And then eventually I dropped that channel entirely, and then I created LNERFlyingScotsman.
And from there, of course, you worked on Percy the Small Engine,
the small tank engine.
Small tank engine. Sorry, I always am like defaulting to Percy the Small Train or something like that, and get kicked off online. But
I'm gonna kick you out of your own live stream show. I'm gonna be back to being the only member here on TTE Community Radio with live streams.
Wait a minute. You were like wanting to be on here. Like you were going on your live streams and saying, when is Todd going to have me on Late and Live? And
that is true. We've been trying to figure out when to have me on Late and Live since the first episode of Late and Live. But Todd always wants to do his shows on a freaking Monday or on a freaking Friday, and I have work those days. And
that's what the bosses tell me. Okay, enough of that squealing. But
I'm here now. I got a Monday off finally.
Yeah. But Percy the Small Tank Engine, that was one of the first shows that I really got into when I came back to the community around 2011. Not like in a creating capacity, but in a viewing capacity. And like 2011, 2012, 2013, that era. What I remembered, it was really like mind-blowing, because it was more like irreverent than most of the other series. Once again, you were saying stuff like you suck at math, and
That's where the joke comes from. Yes.
yep, and things like top of my hat, purchasing stuff on eBay, like which I must say influenced a tweet I put out today. I said it would be really clever if somebody actually did sell a wooden railway Donald on eBay, and then they got a Douglas with it for free.
Oh, no way. I totally missed that. And I did see that tweet. I'm like, what's Todd's tweeting about?
Most of the time it's just nonsense, but
I know. I thought that was more of that nonsense. That's really cool how it's harkening back to a plot device I had. I just goes to show how much I remember from my actual series.
Yeah. Do you go back and rewatch it from time to time? I mean, you
No.
upload remastered versions of a few episodes like about 6 months ago.
Yeah, I don't go back to watch it at all. I mean, maybe I think once in the last year I did, only to get a feel of how it used to be, and also only to remaster those 2 episodes, which had their audio blocked by YouTube entirely.
Because you had like a bunch of like Beatles music in there. I remember Sir Top of my Hat sang "Sexy Sadie" in one episode.
Oh, really? I don't remember that.
Yeah. I think it was after like Duck crashed or something like that. And
what have you done?
Yeah.
Because I do not remember that at all.
It might have been a fever dream. There's lots of that happening back then.
Maybe. I know what episode Stuck was in, and I know which one he crashed in. It was the first episode of season 2.
Yeah. And you also used a lot of music by The Association, and that was actually one of my big introductions to that band.
Right.
So I need to thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Lots of video game music as well. I don't think a lot of people are utilizing popular music in that sense in the community up to that point, in like it being important to the plot almost. Like there were people who were using songs like Ready or Not by the Fugees. Of course, that's a cover of the old Delphonics song. We'll get to talking about Johnny in a while. Don't worry. But nobody really used it in that sense. Do you think that was influential, and what do you think is the impact of that body of work?
Well, I would say that I think what you're trying to get at, people are not using that type of music anymore in their series, is because it's
copyright. Yeah.
Well, first off, the copyright, yeah, like who would have known that like 5 years later that all those episodes would have to come down, especially the ones that had their audio muted for the ones using Beatles songs, because of the whole copyright. This video is, other than like the money that the videos were making going to the people who hold the copyrights, no, they were just blocking the videos entirely. Like who would have thought in 2012 2013 that was going to happen with videos that were being uploaded using Beatles music or copyrighted music in general.
Yeah,
it's always a possibility, and of course you don't want to have your thing be flagged and striked, and if you're actually making money off these, you want to make all the money you want, any cent. So they don't use it anymore. They go for like the safer route. They find royalty free music, or they create their own music.
Or they, take like a popular song like Break My Stride, by Matthew Wilder, and then they reinterpret it in like the style of Thomas, using many of the very creative and talented musicians in the community.
Right. They cover it. Yeah. They get those musicians to cover it in the Thomas style of, like the early season 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. How the music in those seasons kind of sounded like. So I guess it's more of instead of I want to do whatever music I want, it's more of a homage to the Thomas music. And yes, my series did also use Thomas music as well. I remember there's a big controversy at the time where the channel Sudrian Afro would allow you to use music his music that he would recreate in your videos, but you have to ask him first, or like credit him in the comments, or not in the comments, in the description of the video. But the only caveat is that you cannot use it for TWR videos. And it was just like, what the hell, man?
That was like during like the whole Cogley incident. I bet we're losing.
As well, I remember that. That was the year after I left. And I
We're
remember
oh, sorry.
Mainline Engine 2 broke Sudrian Afro's rule. And he used his music. He's like, Jesse was like, I don't care.
Yeah. and then shortly after, there was that famous video grant by MPS where he was ranting about Mainline Engine 2.
Mainline Engine 2. Who cares about Mainline Engine 2?
And
I do nothing with my time except watch cable TV. Do you know how much cable TV I've watched in the past 6 months? It's a lot.
And then that led Z Mark Anthony to make his reaction video to that, where
I love that video. I told him, I remember, like, oh my, I have no idea, but like, I had no idea who he was until like the summer of 2014. But like, I think Johnny or people in these Skype groups that we used to have back then would just add random people that they knew into the call. And I told this Z Mark Anthony guy, because he was really funny, and I think he makes reaction videos. He was talking about it in the call. I'm like, dude, check out this video by Mr. MPS, and he made the reaction video. He was like, what the hell? What is this? But like, I'm gonna expose something like all reaction videos are the person watches them first and then reacts to them.
Yeah. And like that content, just like
sorry to break that to you.
They just do some great stuff. I'm sorry, they do some just fantastic work over there. And I think that just those videos, really hold, such a memory, like such nostalgia in them, where it's almost like it'd be difficult to go back and watch, because they just have that stature in the community. Not to interrupt, but Percy commented, just wait until Percy's Records happens and becomes the most popular live show on Tom's the Tank Engine Community Radio. Now I have Roberto right here, the host of Roberto's Records, of course, and I'm wondering, what's your reaction?
All right. Here's my reaction. Hey, Percy number 6, don't be afraid to put the needle on the second song of your albums. Jump the needle around. Don't be afraid.
Oh,
because in Percy's records, all he has are record albums. All he has are record albums. I have the record 45, so he has like 6 songs. I have 1 song. And when I was in like the first Percy's records, or the only Percy's records to be in fact, that's how popular it was. He would not want to put the song on the 3rd song of the album, or on the 4th song, or on the 5th song. He's always got to be like, no, Roberto, it's always got to be the first one. I'm too afraid to put the needle any further than the tip of the album. I'm like, man, tell me I have to listen to the whole album to get to the 6th song on the album side. Luckily on Roberto's records, you can request any song you want.
The most you're going to need to deal with is the occasional EP, where even then if a person, I remember back when, like I think you had the Baby It's You EP from the Live at the BBC release.
Negative. I did not have that back then, but I do have that now.
I forget what it was. It was some EP, but you played like the second track off of it. Like, you were very good at managing the needles at the time.
At the time, like back in the early Roberto Records days?
At least from the one I was in.
Like the Skype call ones, because the old way how it used to work is that we would go in an order, and if you choose something, and if you choose an EP, you basically voluntarily skip your next turn in the cycle because it's 2 songs.
Oh, I think I remember that from, I must have been like in, the rules must have changed like halfway through one of them, because I remember.
Maybe? I don't know.
Maybe it was like there was like a repeat of a song, where like, the song already got requested, and now it's on the EP. So I think that must have been it. That must have been
Could
it.
be that could be a very likely scenario. Yeah, it could be.
Of course, we both realize that none of this matters in the slightest to anyone who's watching the show. But hey, it's amusing to us. So what?
Right,
What
and none of it matters at all because I do not put EPs in the spreadsheet.
anymore?
No.
Because there's no such thing as skipping on Roberto's records unless you count skips on the actual record.
Hey, that only happens sometimes.
Yeah. And sometimes your records don't even skip, they completely break, as what happened with a very recent release. You got a major Lance record.
Oh,
Nice.
wait,
Which you,
the MAM record one?
oh, what? Sorry?
Are you talking about the time I broke a record on air or the time I got a package in the mail with a shattered record inside of it?
Oh, I was talking about the time you got the package in the mail.
Yes. So it's too bad next show of Roberto's Records you won't be able to hear The Matador by Major Lance because that record just came in pieces and some of the pieces weren't even there when I was opening up the box. I'm gonna look for a copy right now and let's see if there's one on eBay. You do your thing, Taj. What's next on the platter?
Next on the platter, the Platters. That was a good group. But I think that one thing, since we're on this subject, really like what like compelled you like to do these record shows? I mean, when did you start even collecting records? How did you get into older music and all of that?
All right, so if you want, getting into older music was totally thanks to my parents. They had CDs in the car, and I would want to listen to those CDs. Oof, Steam Engines United 3, 4, 5, 6. That kind of hurt a little bit, man.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, I listened to those CDs, and then so I got medicine in my mouth, and it tastes horrible.
I get it.
So then, I listened to the CDs, and that music just, kind of followed me all throughout my life. And then there was this one time in Mexico, back at the end of 2012, in December, I wanted to get a record from the swap meets that they do there. So I got a record from the swap meets, even though I didn't have a player at the time. There was a player at my aunt's house where I was staying. So that's where I got my first record, and I played it, and it was like, this is pretty good. So then my dad said he had an old one, and it was a belt drive record.
Oh,
and that thing needed a new belt or something because that thing would not play at the correct speed. And then I ended up getting my current player for finishing 9th grade, even though I got an F in math class. But let's not put that.
We'll not talk about that.
We're not talking about that. The report card never came. Let's just put it that way. It was torn to pieces and flushed down the toilet. As I did with every single 5-week report card of 9th grade or 10th grade.
It's a good system, actually. I should have thought of that.
Yeah, or you would go get the mail whenever you know that they were going to be sent out every 5 weeks, and then just intercept it that way. It worked. Before then, they will open it.
I had all right grades, though. I had all right, at least towards the end.
Oh, that counts. So that's how the whole record collection started. Ever since then, I don't know what really started it being played on Skype calls. Maybe just one day I was on Skype and I wanted to hear a record, and then it turned into the request for records. Or maybe I just brought up the idea one time. I thought it'd be cool, like, hey, you guys want to listen to my records and request what to play? And they're like, sure. Then everyone had such a good time. We all did it again a few nights later, and then it sort of became almost an every night thing. Yeah.
And was this when you were hanging around with Johnny and Damien and Arbo Phil? These people that really also did so much to shape my outlook on the community.
Definitely, it was when I was hanging out with Johnny and Mr. Wigger. Not so much Damien and Arbolfo, well, I don't know. Definitely not Arbolfo, because he really wanted to leave the whole Thomas stuff behind for the most part. So he would like pop in maybe to Skype calls. I don't know, like once in a blue moon, or heck, even like once every 6 months or something like that. Damien, though, I don't think he was really around for the record streams. I do not remember him being around at all. That was when he was also trying to distance himself from the community and basically do what all the people were doing when he was leaving, or that did when they left and he was still there, was just leave without a trace. But now you can't basically do that thanks to Skype and Twitter being instrumental to keeping the community together. Like, you just can't basically walk out.
Yeah, there's no escaping it now. The walls have grown taller.
I'm still here, yes. It's been almost 8 years since I left, and I'm still here.
Yeah, and I think that's a beautiful thing, because like I think I can kind of summarize it like this. I was thinking to myself that right now I don't know if I'm as much a Thomas fan as I am a fan of the people in the community, most importantly, but also like the characters and all the possibilities that are made with these characters, and putting them in different situations. And so I think it is possible to be a member of the Thomas fandom while not even being a Thomas fan, which is a weird thing to say, but I think there are quite a few people that fall under that canopy.
Yeah, I agree so too. It's also another reason why it's like, for me, leaving like all these friends behind, just like randomly like just cutting them off, it's like that does not feel that didn't sit well with me at the time. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah, because there's like sometimes where it's like, oh, to be honest, like in all like the groups I've been in, you only talk about Thomas for like a certain while. And then you move on to different things like, oh, how's schooling going? And how, did you see this movie? Or, do you like this music?
Right. Our Skype calls would be much more than just Thomas. It would just be about anything really at this point.
Yeah. And so I guess now one question to have is do you have any when can we expect the next Roberto's Records live stream?
Definitely not this month. I wanted to do, you know what? I'm gonna call Lemmy here. I wanted to do a live stream on either the 8th or the 15th, but the 8th I was just too freaking tired because I was off the 8th, but I had an overnight at 9 p.m. And also I slept for like 3 hours because I really did not want to be tired during the overnight. And then I went to the doctor's, got denied entry because the reason why I was going in for was because of a breathing problem I began having. And then that's like, oh, that's a COVID symptom. We're just going to have you do a phone call appointment. I'm like, really? I need x-rays.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
It's all good. And they tried calling me today, and I'm like, oh my God, I keep missing the call because it's a freaking 1-800 number, and I don't know it. Anyways, so then I was like, okay, I guess I'll do it on the 15th. But then I checked the a few days before the 8th, I checked our Google Doc, which has when we want to go on, and I saw there's a character gallery coming on the 15th. And when I said, oh, okay, I guess I won't do one this month then because I don't have any other Mondays or Fridays that I'm off. But then character gallery didn't even end up coming out on Friday, so it's like, well, thanks, Lemmy.
Time to get the trombone out. Just kidding. We love
so
you.
Right now we're hopefully looking at someday in February, although because of my school picking up a week from today. Oh God. School starting on a week from today. I'm probably going to be working a work schedule that consists of Mondays, Wednesdays, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. We'll see. Maybe I'll take some Mondays off. I don't know. But I would really hate to do a Roberto's live stream coming out of school. It was just like I gotta prepare for the stream. I gotta be in the Zoom call and get an hour to prepare. And you know how very good I am at preparing. I always start the stream like 4 minutes late because I'm still preparing at 3 o'clock, or I'm coming into the live stream here late because I was waking up from a nap and I just happened to wake up at the correct time.
it's great when that happens, like there's times where like I gotta be honest. I hope none of my professors are watching. But
I'll send them the link.
okay. Actually, one of my professors did encourage me to start showing my face, so that's cool. Well, in the community, not in Zoom.
Strange, but okay.
Well, they didn't. It was indirect. It was indirect. It was something they said, and I was like, "That's so cool." And then I did this. But there have been times where I've just set my alarm to wake up at a certain time, didn't wake up, and then I woke up if my class started at 9:00 a.m., I woke up at 9:01 a.m. And then I was like, "Oh, great! I'm not too late. I can still salvage it. I can be like, oh, I just had some connection problems."
And that's the glory of having school be completely online. Because if you were to wake up at 9:01 and your class started at 9, you either have to get your ass to campus or walk across campus to get to class, and you'd be there like at 9:30 because you would have to get dressed, freshen up a little bit.
Yeah.
Drive if you need to. Yeah, online class sometimes is probably a blessing that we're not realizing. I hate it for sure. That's why I'm not going back to school once I'm done with the semester. But I'll be finished with my 4-year degree, so that's also a reason why.
Wow, that's great.
No, it took long enough. It took 5 years actually.
Well, it just means that you're really persistent and you didn't want to miss anything. So but I guess that is a very big advantage. And to be honest, like during like the first 5 minutes of class or so, like they never do anything really that important typically.
True.
So heck, during like the first 15 most days, it's just like, okay, so this just want to remind you, what's happening in the coming days. And it's like we met yesterday. But yeah. Anyway, one more question before I add FSP back into this call, so you can duke out who's the best Flying Scotsman user.
Frames second per.
Fisp. So the one thing that I would ask is that you just did a live stream that was completely encompassing all the top hits of 1970. And so I guess for our last question, since you're such a music buff, just as I am, I was wondering, do you have any favorite singles that came out in 1970 or charted highly in 1970? Like songs that you've just listened to and are just like, I can't get enough of that tune. I'm going to leave that open-ended, so you can just answer with anything.
So basically, list out my favorites of 1970.
Yeah, and it can be anything. It doesn't even need to be like large hits. It can be like deep cuts if you wish. Or
let me open up my doc.
Okay.
So quick and my spreadsheet.
I know it seems like a weird question, but I just wanted to throw one of these in
celebration of the last stream I did, which was to count down the top 100 songs I had that charted in 1970, because there were some songs from 1969 that snuck their way in at the end of the list, which I thought was really interesting. Because then that means when I do this for 1971 at the end of this year, some songs from the list last year will appear again, and I'm interested to see which ones will.
And there's some that were released at the end of.
It's literally moving so slow when I need it to.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so all my dates are according to 45 Cats. So let's see. January 1970. Let's say, I guess, The Bells by the Originals. I really like those. Those two original songs that charted high in 69, 1970. The Bells was one of them. Kentucky Rain, that's a classic. That's one I heard when I was like 9, 10, 8, and I went like 10 years without listening to it.
Great Elvis tune from that Chips Moan era.
Celebrate, Three Dog Night, that's a good one too. I like Three Dog Night a lot. I'm actually very close to completing their discography for ABC Records.
Man, it's a solid discography. It's
really. They had so many hits that they had like 8 18 in a row that went top 40 or top 20.
Yeah, just go like
18 in a row, and there
Yeah.
was not in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame because they didn't write them themselves, probably, but
yeah,
still.
but you know, they made lots of composers really famous. I think Elton John actually said that he would have quit the music industry if they didn't cover Lady Samantha, like in 1969. Then they covered Your Song, which got traction in the United States, and then his version became a hit shortly thereafter, I believe.
Right,
So-
but I don't think any Three Dog Night songs were released as singles under the Elton John name.
Yeah,
Besides,
yeah.
and I got to give mention to Instant Karma by
We
John
all should.
Lennon, produced by Phil Spector, who died 2 days ago.
Mhm.
Let's see. Love Grows Where My Rosemary Goes. That was one of the songs Johnny showed me.
Oh yeah,
Early
Absolute
Roberto's
classic.
record song.
absolute classic.
Okay, ABC Jackson 5. That's another classic.
Oh yeah, all the Jackson 5 singles from 1970 or that peaked in 1970 are really solid.
right.
I really love "I'll Be There." That's
Here's
just
one I got a few days ago. Sorry to cut you off there.
Oh, that's perfect. That's fine.
Yeah, we'll get to that. That was like September. I got this one on the last day of 2020, so a couple of days after the stream. It's called Timothy by the. I have no idea how to say this. The Boys.
Yeah,
Boys. Yeah, Silent
the
You.
buoys, like the floaty
Or
objects.
The buoys.
I love this one. It's like about like the cannibals in the mine.
Yeah, that was released in February of 1970, but didn't start charting until January 2nd of 1971.
By Rupert Holmes. That's
Yeah, he
odd.
did have some. Yeah, it's one of those songs that they apparently the picture sleeve that I have with it said that they try to keep the single down, but they couldn't keep it down.
Yeah,
It
was
became
like
a hit.
DOA by Blood Rock or something like that, you know, like where just the theme is just so dark and you know,
Right.
But
So
more chipper. It's a more chipper sounding song than
yeah, so
than
that's one
DOA.
that started coming, literally getting chart action a year after it came out. Let's see what else. What else? You got Let It Be by the Beatles, again another Phil Spector production.
Absolute classic.
American Woman, Guess Who?
Who? I'm not gonna do that joke. Sorry.
Please don't. Love on a Two-Way Street by the Moments. That's a nice soul ballad.
hmm
I'm sad it didn't get picked during the stream. Okay, so I got this one by the Magnificent Men called Lay Lady Lay. It's like a soul cover of the original Bob Dylan one that didn't chart at all. Let's see, what else do I got? This one I got recently, Reach Out and Touch Somebody's Hand by Diana Ross.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
9 weeks on the chart, probably would have hit around the lower 100. You know, after I used to do all these chart calculations for any song I got since then. Since the stream, I haven't really done any calculations for, because there's no need to unless I'm going to, you know, revitalize the list or do the list again for
10
another
years
stream.
or something, which is crazy to think about, but you know, it's possible.
Riot Captain Riot Blues Image. It's possible this list could make a return in the future, but I do want to get to the
It's
other
very
years first before coming back to 1970. Oh, here's another by 3 Dog Night. Mama Told Me Not to Come. I have that in white label and picture
Old Randy
sleeve.
Newman number. Well, it wasn't
Yeah.
an old one they did, but, you know, and just a great vocal, great mood. Ooh, great keyboard part.
Okay, here's a big one from Los Angeles. The Sly, Slick, and the Wicked.
Oh, is that the Lost Generation?
Yeah, Lost Generation.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one was big in LA, but it only made it to number 30 on the national charts, which is kind of odd because literally a lot of those surveys I would see has this song climbing up high in the charts, but for some reason it just didn't climb higher.
Yeah, there's certain like if a single peaks in Minnesota, or in Minneapolis, for example, on the radio, either one of the major radio stations they had there, I wouldn't have been surprised if it didn't make the top 40. But Los Angeles, that's a major market.
The biggest top 40 market, I think. All right, here's
Yeah.
another one. Close to You by Carpenters. That was the number 1 song of 1970 according to Roberto's records. And that's when I got at a record store. Like, I think I went on a during a gap period in school, and I picked up this perfect looking copy for like $10. And I'm like, are you kidding me? This thing looks immaculate.
Sometimes you just get lucky with those.
Yep. So it's mine now. I'm glad I went on that off period.
Oh yeah, I love the Carpenters, especially that like those like 70 through 73. Those were like just amazing years in my.
Oh yeah, they reigned supreme before the disco period of the 70s started.
I kind of felt,
another good one in the summertime, Mungo Jerry.
Yeah, have a drink, have a drive. Actually, don't. Just don't.
That song came out when I was driving one day, and I'm like, oh, this is perfect. Even though it feels like summer, even though it's November. It was actually on election day.
Oh, hopefully there's no messaging in that.
Yeah, don't bring up anything about election.
Oh dear. No promises, since I have brought FSP back into the call. He might. He also ran an independent campaign for president. And
hey, how did that work out?
I think he actually did pretty darn well, actually, looking at it for an independent unlisted. So
I kind of have to mention that Taj, you and Roberto talked for the past 51 minutes.
51. We'll keep it. We'll keep the stream going for just a little while longer. Sorry about that. He he talked about math for like so long. I was like, it was like a joke question, and he was just
talking about math for like 5 minutes.
Well,
You talked about math.
You my whole math history.
I don't know about that. It's probably somewhere in between the two.
Maybe you're the one who sucks at math and don't know how long I really talked for.
You're right. I don't know who you were talking to, but if you were talking to me, you're right. I'm not that great at math. Okay, now it's time to go. I'm ending the stream now. You made me feel really bad. I'm just kidding.
Get out of here, host.
Yeah, you both suck.
See, the ultimate betrayal.
I think everybody in the chat kind of died because, like, after you guys started talking, nobody's put anything in the chat in like over 20 minutes, other than me.
Yeah,
Sounds
like
one of my normal live streams.
late in life. Do any of you have requests? I mean, we won't be able to play them, but I could maybe like break out a harmonica. I have an accordion. I could try to cover some of them on accordion, even though I
Wait,
suck.
so Taj, you were saying, so you actually have your own show?
On
the
radio. Oh my goodness. That's a really good Donna Summer song while I'm talking about that. And Roberto, you can keep on talking about stuff. I don't know if that chuckle was an agreement or if you don't like this guy. I don't mind either way. It's unique because I do radio shows. It's not like I'm pinned down to any one program. So sometimes I have like a show that's like, I'm kind of coming into the situation, I guess, where they are really looking for people who know lots of older music, like because they want, a lot of people in my age demographic are not that passionate about oldies, I guess, or any of that. While I just like dig up anything I can find, like of any style, and I just try to get my hands on it. So I guess that's so I'll be doing some classic rock shows, with classic rock being a very loose term.
Have you had anyone call in and request the Island song yet?
No. Play some music, Taj. We have a request already. But
somebody's alive.
Steven just united 3, 4, 5, 6. You're alive.
4 watching now, and I'm one of those 4. So you might need to put out a tweet, Taj, telling them, hey, this is still going.
Hey, you know what, though? That's why we have them. I actually get lots of people who say, oh, I'm not available to come during the stream, but, I love listening to it after the moment as a podcast, So it's a bit weird, to have both live interaction and Also, people who listen to it during their own time.
Oh, right, I forgot the streamer phone that we can keep immediately after we stop broadcasting.
Don't you thwart this. Don't you thwart this. Don't you break out one of your 3 Dog Night 45s. You better not. I mean, I wouldn't mind it too much because I want to listen to 3
Mama told me not to come. That ain't the way to have fun. That ain't the way to have fun.
I don't know like what half you're talking. I don't know like about half you're talking about when it comes to music.
Don't worry, the people back in the 70s didn't know really either. Most of them were too stoned. But yeah. Do you have any favorite oldies, I guess?
Me?
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. I do like "You Really Got Me" by the Kinks.
Kinks are great. Kinks are like one of my faves of all time.
"Break My Stride."
That's 145 I do have, actually. I did a cover of it, like really cringy way back when. I took it down because it was even too cringy for me, where I sang like the lyrics to like the engine roll call on top of the instrumental version of Break My Stride on the B-side. It was so
you have to unlist that video now.
Yes.
Oh no!
Wait, FSP, did you request "You Really Got Me" by the Kinks on my show once, or was that someone else?
That was someone else. That wasn't me.
Oh.
Can I be honest for a sec, Robert?
Oh, what's up?
I haven't watched your show.
Oh, okay.
The ultimate betrayal. You didn't even show up for the inauguration, man. You missed out. Even Percy number 6 showed up for that. I mean, come on.
He did the inauguration.
Exactly. That's the most shocking part.
Was that the most shocking part when he agreed to beforehand? He was my first pick to do the inauguration.
It's more that he agreed. Roberto.
Oh.
It's more that he agreed, you see. For there's it's surprising that I haven't mentioned Mount Disappointment one time during this whole live stream up until now.
Because he shall not be mentioned. He's still here.
He's still well, you don't know that.
There's no comma in the song title.
Oh, wait a minute. The chat just updated. Oh yeah, he is here. I request hello, it's me. I need to emphasize the L.
Hello, it's me.
Oh yeah, Percy number 6. Please accept my Skype invitation, please.
Dang it! What?
This is just a time just to send a friend request to everybody who was in the chat, just to tell them to accept.
It wasn't a hit over in the United States, but I really like the Green Monalishi of Fleetwood Mac. That's a great early Fleetwood Mac cut that came out in 1970. Well, that's completely off topic, but I wanted to...
what the heck did Fleetwood Mac come into this?
Well, we were talking about the songs from 1970.
Oh, okay. We're still on that?
I have no idea.
I love how we're 23 minutes off schedule.
Despite how it might seem, we're off schedule. We're off our rockers, quite frankly.
Our brains are unhinged. We're just having a good old fun time.
We're having a good old fun time. So I guess this is a good time as any for us to start the Q&A section of the video.
The Q&A section? Didn't we just do that for the last hour and 43 minutes?
Oh, no, that was where I ask you bad questions. This is the part where people who watch the show get to ask bad questions. So it's a big...
Okay.
It's very, very key. Very key.
We're up to 7 people watching now, so maybe we got some more people who want to ask questions.
Oh no, it might be like, I don't know. They're going to ask us to review the man horse or something like that. Dear.
I need to find that man horse video again.
It's iconic. I don't know if you've seen it, FSP, but
no.
It's classic.
I don't watch many movies. I'm just an old milk stud.
It's not even a movie. It's like 3 minutes long.
It's a movie in spirit. It's a movie in spirit.
See, that's how you know I don't know anything about it. Percy number 6 says, yes, Roberto has a strong pick to do his inauguration.
So here's a question from Percy number 6. For Roberto, will you attempt to run again as president of the TWRC?
Yes,
That
I
is
will.
no, not you. That is too soon to call. Let's see how the rest of the term plays out.
So I'm seeing like this is a yearly thing. It's not like 4 years. Like
No,
the U.S.
God
president.
no.
Steam
Can't
Engine
handle being in
United
this office
says,
for 4
will
years.
Roberto be impeached? He admitted to cheating after all.
When did I do that? That was for school.
You never know. It might
Almost as
come.
bad as Joe Biden.
Oh, it's gonna haunt you. It's gonna haunt you. This whole thing. It's gonna just sneak up. As a Stevie Wonder would say, it's gonna sneak up right behind you and grab you. Keep on running. Okay, enough of that.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm terrible with my references. Lemmy said like to me after we I was on last Late and Live. He also had a live stream that same night. So after that, I headed over there, and after that, we were in just like the group chat, just discussing random things. And he said, "You just you use way too many analogies," and I was like, "I completely agree," and too many references to media and all that. But
Percy number 6 says, Roberto, who will be your VP and why is it Roman?
Because Roman's the homie. He's got more subscribers than you.
You know what? I'm gonna just be completely frank here. Roman's just a great guy. I just gotta be completely real. Like just even like breaking the pretense.
Yeah, he's nice. And I gotta say, but Roberto, Percy number 6 has more subs than you.
No, he's been doing this longer than me. Literally, his channel is older than mine.
And he's still uploading content, you know?
That too.
And I gotta say something though. I've been only making actual good content. I didn't have 100 subscribers until like late 2019. So I didn't really start hard till the beginning of this year. So it's been like, I don't know, a year, and I'm almost past you. So
almost.
I'm nowhere near that. I have no idea how I ended up with a show. I've been like at a steady, sturdy 250 for like the past 8 years now, I think.
Everyone go subscribe to Taj.
I don't. Oh, well, actually, please, actually do. It's weird because I'm switching like accounts partly. Like I'm working on a mini series, and that's going to go up on my TEHGJPTDDDO account. But like all my other videos, like I'm working on a music podcast and all my film reviews, not only of Thomas stuff, but also other things such as that, are going to
Guys,
go
you know what I'm doing right now?
A different account. What are you doing?
I'm going into Google Translate right now, and I'm going to put in your acronym, and then we're going to see how Google Translate says it in English, and then that's how we're just going to say it, just to acronymize your name.
Oh no! This is what Roberto did. I said he gave me my name. You don't need to do this again. Like the best part is that like back then that was like the gold era of Q&A videos, because that was before like everybody had a Twitter account, and so whenever a person could ask a question, they just send you a question.
Here we go.
So I'll finish.
TEHGJPTDDDO.
TDDDDO.
TEHGJPTDDDO.
Did you guys hear that?
TDDD. Oh, that's interesting. Like a percussive rhythm right there.
Taj, you're real. How do you say it? Say it super fast. Say your name super fast.
THEJBTDDO.
Wow.
How can you do that?
Hey, my friend Splendid Wolf.
And I'm a stutterer on top of all that.
Splendid Wolf. I mentioned you earlier in the stream.
But yeah,
I love how except for that one, every single question here is for Roberto. I'm just the inferior one here.
Oh, I got another question. Steam Engines United 3456. I don't cry.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Oh no.
I mean, it's true.
mean, I voted for you, so I mean,
Excuse me, Taj.
well, I mean,
Excuse me.
PS said that he was going to get rid of the Take-On like members, and I couldn't have that. Now, could I?
Why didn't you vote for me?
Well, I mean, out of the two mainstream options, I sided with them, and you were
No
not.
third parties.
I didn't even know you were running because you weren't on Twitter. He has a Twitter
Taj
now.
cancellation. Taj cancellation.
Epic cancellation. We're gonna bring back the epic cancellation. Only it's not for Epic, it's for me. It's still gonna be epic though. It's gonna be epic. Oh wow.
Check the chat.
This is getting heated, man.
Yeah,
In the
Percy
middle
number
of the
6.
winter.
Next time you better settle for me.
Oh dear. Okay. I will. Oh, I'm so sorry.
I'm aware of my grammar errors if you check the chat.
I'm just so sorry. Okay, enough of that. Enough of that moping. So anyway, I guess now we can continue answering Q&A questions as we dive into one of the most popular segments of the show, the Thomas Trivia Challenge. Now, this is going to be a bit unique. These questions are a little bit more difficult than a lot of them that we've had in the past. But don't worry, it's because they're from a different theme. For every live stream this year, I'm going to try to pick different themes to center the questions around. And today, since LNERFlyingScotsman is the host of Roberto's Records, and since I've been talking a lot with Flying Scotsman Productions about the subject, I decided to make the theme music. So, with that being said, like these questions can have anything to do with music. It can be about songs from the show. It could be songs from outside of the show that relate to the show in some way.
I am freaking screwed.
But it's
I know
multiple.
nothing about music. Nothing.
But it's multiple choice.
Oh
So,
boy.
I mean, and sometimes, hey, you know nothing about music, but hey, you know, Roberto doesn't know that much about Thomas too. So I mean, we're kind of
You're
balanced.
screwed.
Well, I mean, everybody loves a good dumpster fire every once in a while. At least I do. So that should be like the tagline of like my show. But here's the first question. Prior to being a narrator for Thomas and Friends, Michael Brandon starred as Jeff Dugan in this hit film. No, in this film wasn't hit. In this film with a hit soundtrack. A, Vanishing Point. B, The Poseidon Adventure. C, The Rose. Or D, FM. I'll give you all about maybe 15 seconds to come to answers. And then I'll go to Scotty. I'll call you that.
Okay.
For the first one, just so it's a little more smooth, I guess. Nope, that's not an option. I gave you 4. You can just guess, just even like the one that sounds best. We have a C from Percy for a vote for the Rose. So anyway, okay. So we're gonna start with Scotty. What's your choice?
Gosh. I don't know. I'd have to say D, FM.
Okay, 1 vote for D. Roberto.
It's FM.
Okay, we got 2 votes for D. So, and in the chat we have guesses for all of them. 1 vote for all of them, in fact. So I'll start with the one that Percy said, because I I think Roberto would like if he was the first one who was disappointed. Sorry once again, but it's not The Rose. That's the very famous film with Bette Midler, who sang that, won a bunch of Academy Awards. Doesn't have Michael Brandon in it. It's not A, Vanishing Point, which had a soundtrack by Delaney and Bonnie, actually. It's not B.
Percy number 6 says rigged.
Rigged. Okay. It's not the Poseidon Adventure, which had the song "The Morning After" as the big hit from that. It is FM.
Yes.
Big hit from that was Steely Dan's FM, No Static at All. Very good record, actually. So currently we're tied 1-1, and now we're going to go to our second question. According to a Soder Island Forums interview with Mike O'Donnell, Oliver's classic series theme was based off the theme from the classic prison film. Which of these answers is correct? A, Merry Christmas, Mr. Lawrence. B, The Great Escape. C, Stalag 17. Or D, Cool Hand Luke. I'll give you 15 so we can get some chat room interaction. Oh, wow. It just automatically split my comment in two. That's all right. It works all right. Everybody has the options. Make sure to post them in the chat. We have a vote for B, The Great Escape in the chat from Splendid Wolf 442. We're going to start with Roberto in about 5 seconds' time. So you can formulate which option you're going with. Have 3.
I want to say B, just because that was the first answer I was really confident in.
All right. Scotty, what you going with?
Yeah, again, I'd probably say B just because I feel like that's like a good title to go along with if that was going to be based off like that.
Well, I'm sorry to inform you that you're both correct. Everyone's correct. It's a really good
Yeah.
Steve McQueen. Check it out. It has this, very percussive sound. If any of you have seen Chicken Run, that's pretty much where they got a bunch of that stuff from. So anyway, now we move on to question number 3. Ooh. Why did I make that sound? Ooh.
Ooh.
Ew. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, boo snubs.
Number 3, Tim Staffel is known by many community members as being the chief model maker for Tom's the Tank Engine's first season, but he is also famous for being a founding member of the Beach Boys influenced musical group that later became A, Electric Light Orchestra, B, American Spring, C, First Class, or D, Queen. 15 seconds. Scotty goes up first.
Gosh, I might need to read the question again.
All right, it's in the chat. In space, no one can hear you scream, but in StreamYard, everyone can hear you type. So I just wanted to remind y'all to play it nice, play it cool. You got this. We have 1 vote for C, First Class. Person number 6. 1 vote for D from Steam Engines United 3456. And Scotty, what are you thinking you're going with?
I don't know. First Class.
Going with First Class.
C.
Okay. Roberto, what you going with?
Queen.
You going with Queen? Okay. So we have 2 C's in total, and we have 3 D's. So let's look at the other options. It's not B, American Spring. That was one of Brian Wilson's studio projects, kind of related to the Honeys. Rather experimental pop, so I'd recommend that. It's not A, Electric Light Orchestra. The band before that was The Move, and there are Thomas connections actually with that group, but it doesn't relate to Tim Staffel. Now we're down to C and D, our 2 options. And so I'll reveal this. The way that you can tell that this band was originally Beach Boys influenced was because their original name was Smile, or at least one of their original names, before the members of the lineup changed and eventually became Queen. Our answer D, Roberto gets the point. And if anyone was confused by that question, First Class did have a large hit in the 1970s called Beach Baby, which was certainly influenced by the Beach Boys and the whole surf sound of the time, Jan and Dee and so on. And another trivia, I guess a little factoid I'll throw in there as well, is that Freddie Mercury's first charting solo single, I believe it got on a 115 on the Bubbling Under chart, was under the name Larry Lawrence. And it was a cover of the song I Can Hear Music, which was covered by the Beach Boys, and it was done in the style of that performance, but was actually originally performed by the Ronettes and written by Phil Spector, who, let's just say, has also done some very bad things, but he did pass away earlier this week. So that is a Beach Boys connection right there. So Steam Engines United 3456 is 3 out of 3 so far. And the same can be said about Roberto. Scotty, you need to catch up. Well, I mean, you don't technically need to, but, there's a little incentive. Number 4. The Japanese title for the Season 5 sing-along, Come for the Ride, translates to A. I'll start that over again. Why did I make that? Oh, okay. Translates to A. Railroad Rock. B. Lots of work to do. C. Rockin' on the Railway. Or D. Rock of the Engines. Those are your 4 options. We start with Roberto this time.
What the hell? I don't know Japanese.
Well, it's more just like a guess. I throw some of these around just because I know that there's like no chance anyone will get these most likely unless they looked on the wiki, and it is on the wiki, but don't look it up because once again, okay, we have 1 vote for C, Rockin' on the Railway.
You know what? Person number 6 never let me down. I'm gonna vote with him.
You're gonna vote with him for Rockin' on the Railway. Scotty.
Better not let me down.
I'll have to vote. Yeah, C.
2 C's?
Mhm.
Okay, first off, it's not lots of work to do, because it just doesn't have anything to do with the song, really. It's also not D, Rock of the Engines. That's the Spanish translation, actually, which is also available on the wiki. So now we're between our last 2 options, Railroad Rock and Rocking on the Railroad. And I must say, congratulations, both of you. It is Railroad Rock. I do these tricks. So I'm afraid both of you didn't get that point, but don't worry. There's still a lot of questions left. And, well, lots to do.
Person
So-
number 6 let me down.
He let you down.
And
man.
so did Steam Engines United.
Boo! Okay, your streak ended, I'm afraid. Okay, so once again, we're still at 3-2. Here's another question that I think at least one of you is going to get. If not, hopefully, I'll say. So, 5. Prior to narrating Thomas, Ringo Starr just happened to be the drummer in perhaps the most influential rock band of all time. Which of the following albums by the Beatles features a song about a train? A. The Beatles with Tony Sheridan and their guests. B. With the Beatles. C. Rubber Soul. Or D. Let It Be. I'm going to give you 15 seconds right there to choose your answer. Scotty is starting.
Oh, it's muted.
That's all right. Have a vote for a Rubber Soul.
Let's see.
2 votes for C.
C. Steam Engines United hasn't let us down so far.
So, Roberto, what you going with?
Well, I'm not gonna trust person number 6 anymore, or Steam Engines United, so I'm gonna vote D.
You're going to vote D. Okay. So, first off, it's not A, the Beatles with Tony Sheridan and their guests. This was a unique kind of one I threw in there as an oddball because most people don't really know that album. It's not really an album. It's more of a compilation of studio sessions. And the reason why I threw that in there is because they did cover Rock Island Line during their earlier performances, but that is not included on this release, or on any recorded release to my knowledge, unless, there's like some bootleg or something like that. It's not with the Beatles. I threw that on there because I don't know. I guess you could interpret It Won't Be Long as being a train song or something like that. I really should have thrown A Hard Day's Night on there because there's the famous train sequence in that film. But that leaves us with our last two albums, Rubber Soul and Let It Be. And I'm afraid that I need to say that the answer is D, Let It Be. However, the song that is about a train, or about at least a train ride, or relating to trains, does a herald from an earlier era of the band, that being the one after 909. So that's the song that was featured, and Roberto did get that correct. So the score is now 4-2. So don't worry, we still are only halfway through.
We're already halfway there.
Halfway there.
Halfway there. Halfway there.
Halfway there.
So, number 6. Which Thomas narrator released an album with the name FM and AM? A. Pierce Brosnan, B. Michael Brandon, C. Ringo Starr, or D. George Carlin? Roberto is starting on this. Let's give it about 10 seconds, though. I'm going to have a little drink of water. We have one vote for C, one vote for B.
Can I vote now?
Yes.
I'll vote D.
Going to vote D for George Carlin. We have a vote for Michael Brandon and a vote for Ringo Starr in the chat as well. And now a vote
I'm going to say, because I feel like it would have been Ringo, but I feel like I think I've seen an album from George Carlin that says FM, AM. So, yeah, George Carlin.
Okay. So we have 2 Ds, 3 Bs, and 1 C. And it looks like person number 6 is sticking with C because it's been because he thinks that he'll finally be right. Well, I'm afraid to say
the letter C signifies all his grades on every report card he's ever gotten since first grade.
It's right in the middle. Right in the middle. It's always weird that they skip over E, but it is not. I'm afraid it is not Ringo Starr. It is also not Pierce Brosnan. I think he released like a spoken word album, like way back in his Remington Steele days, but it's very rare to come by. It's not Michael Brandon either. I threw that in there because of the FM references, meaning that both of you got that right. George Carlin released a stand-up album under that release back in 1975, which takes us to number 7.
Thank you, Useful Engine 11. Taj, can you please highlight Useful Engine 11's comment for a sec? Thank you. This is me right now. I have no clue about anything about this.
Well,
nothing. I know nothing about
this one. You might know a little bit more.
Me
about
neither. I'm just taking guesses.
That's the best
know
part.
about music.
But number 7,
That's
the
true.
sing-along US.
A little bit more.
But number 7, the sing-along US VHS/DVD release entitled "Songs from the Station" features 2 episodes from which season of Thomas the Tank Engine? A. Season 3, B. Season 9, C. Season 8, or D. Season 4. This time we are starting once again with Scotty.
Okay. Oh, this is easy. Season 4, because I know, and I know why. Can I give a reason why?
You can maybe give your reason after Roberto speaks.
Good idea.
Which one is this one? Is this the one with Toby on the cover?
It's I'll give this much away. And if you want to change your answer after this, it has it has a visible sky in it. That sounds
All of
really
them have
great.
a visible sky in it.
Not all of them. Some of them just have a background, like a colored background.
Okay, you know what?
Would be 6.
What the hell? Okay, you know what? I'm gonna say this is the one with Toby on the cover, so I'm also gonna say season 4.
Okay.
It has trucks in it. I know that for sure.
I'm saying season 4 because on Sidekick Jason's Journey by Rail video, that was the first thing he watched, and I always remember when I would ever watch that, I would always hate it. So I'd always skip through all the songs and go straight to Bulldog, which is season 4.
Oh, that's interesting.
I'm correct, aren't I?
Well, it's very unique because up until this point, at least from the chat I'm seeing, all the chat's going with C, and everyone on
Really?
the show is going with D. So,
Wait,
Uh,
what's that thing called?
songs from the station.
Songs from the station.
So, I can hear you. But your locks are locked, my friend. But we have one vote for A. So, but I'm afraid to say that A and B are both disqualified. Not because they're right, but because they are wrong. So that leaves us with C and D. And between these two, I am very happy to say that it is season 8. So congrats, people in the chat.
How are you happy to say that? Come on.
Wait a
man.
minute.
I'm happy that somebody got it
no,
right.
that's the wrong sing-along DVD.
It's the one with the fireworks on the cover.
Oh, that one. Oh,
So
I'm thinking of the season 4 sing-along one. Oh,
I
I'm in.
know
Yeah,
what you're
that's
talking
the
about.
one too.
I know that's what you're talking
With
about.
Yeah,
accidents will
okay.
happen on it.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but I'm happy that people got it. I'm happy.
Todd,
Isn't that
I
one
freaking
called?
hate you.
Is that one called Trackside Tunes?
I think
Yeah.
the early
Yeah.
ones tracks. We have a show named after.
I don't listen to half the shows. The only shows I listen to are this one and Character Gallery.
And
all right.
Roberto's Records.
All right, I'm gonna change that. I'm gonna change that. We're gonna change that actually. Once again, make sure to check all the shows on community radio. There's lots of great stuff here. I love all the shows, but then again, I mean, and I'm not even getting paid to do this. So I mean, I think that's
What happens to the revenue that the community channel makes, huh? Well, since we've hit 1K now, and I'm sure we have plenty of watch hours, what happens to the revenue?
There was a conspiracy going around that there's somebody who's collecting the money. Of course, I think I was on an episode of Blue Midwest Mysteries, and they speculated that it was Multi who was collecting it. I doubt it. He's too nice of a guy. I don't think there is any revenue on these videos, but yeah.
Todd, you should check it out. See how many watch hours the channel has, because the shows are like an hour long.
Yeah, but I'll make sure to do that actually. But now we're on to question number 8. Really Useful Engine, a classic series song, was retooled for inclusion in Thomas the Tank Engine's theatrical debut, Thomas and the Magic Railroad. This version features vocals from a member of which band? A. Smash Mouth, B. Bare Naked Ladies, C. Ween, or D. They Might Be Giants. Roberto, you're going first on this. I'd hold off for maybe about 10 seconds if you wish, and then you can speak your will. I mean, don't actually read off your will. I don't think we'd want that. But
I don't even have one written yet.
That's a good thing. That's a good thing.
What do you mean by retooled? Was it like given words or something like that?
It was reworked and rearranged.
Okay.
Like the lyrics were pretty much the same, but like the actual musical arrangement was changed by Hummy Man.
By who?
He was the composer / scorer for the film Hummy Man.
Oh, I see. Is this a good time to admit I never watched The Magic Railroad?
It's a really good time. I mean, I didn't really like it as a kid, to be honest. But
I never watched it at all.
Some people might say that you're missing a lot. I wouldn't say that, but I respect everyone's opinion.
I still haven't watched it.
Have you watched
no
the
plans
parody?
I just went back and listened to it, and I was like, oh yeah, I know who this is.
Oh, okay. So Roberto, what are you going with?
I'm gonna say C, just because.
I'm gonna say go with the Ween,
Sure.
the Ocean Band.
I'm going with B, Bare Naked Ladies. Because I swear I hear the same artist. Because my favorite song from them is their Jingle Bells cover. It's one of my favorite Christmas songs, and I swear I hear the same voice. So I'm going with B.
Are you sure? I mean, the voice does sound a bit similar to like Gene and Dean.
I've never heard them, so no.
Okay. Oh, that's a question, I guess. Have both of you seen the parody?
Oh, I've seen the parody. Oh yes. You should
No
ask her.
interest in watching Thomas stuff.
The
so
parody's
no, I haven't.
amazing. Taj, have you seen the parody?
Oh yeah, I was like watching. I watched the end of it live, like because I was in like a band class and like I had rehearsal like all day. And then when I finally got done, like there's only 5 minutes of it left, so I just commented like, "Hey, I was here," and then I rewatched it later, and it was great. But yeah, we have a vote for B and a vote for D. They might be giants. So I'll eliminate Smash Mouth right now. Sorry, yeah, that's
You're right.
they're exclusive to Shrek, even though that song was actually not composed for that.
Somebody wants.
That leaves us with 3 remaining artists. It's not They Might Be Giants, even though they do have a very similar. Well, I wouldn't say similar, but they're a very quirky band in the same ilk as Ween and some early Bare Naked Ladies. This is, by the way, this is the only time you're going to hear me utter the words "Bare Naked Ladies" on this podcast.
Yeah, it's so weird. Like I was talking to my Alexa, and I was like, play the Christmas. I forget what I was like, play Jingle Bells and then I said that, and then my mom like opened the door because she heard it, and she's like, "What are you saying?"
It's funny because like most of their music's like really innocent too. It's like, what? You're, like, talk about shooting yourself in the foot.
it's like you immediately shoot you down and just everyone just kind of like judges you by your name. It's just kind of like,
but yeah,
why?
That leaves us between the Bare Naked Ladies and Ween, as most things do, and we have votes for both on this one. So I'm very I'll not say happy. I'll say melancholic. There we go. To say that the correct answer is the Bare Naked Ladies.
Yes.
But you should seriously listen to Ween if you haven't. They have some great stuff beyond Ocean Man.
In your foot, Robert.
And so now the spacing is, if I'm correct, it's either 5-4. Yeah, it's 5-4. What am I saying?
No, it's 5-5 now.
No, I'm ahead one.
He's ahead one.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Crap. I said it's either 5-4 and then I have brain fart, or I said it's almost 6-5, but it almost added the votes twice. So number 9, Captain America: The First Avenger features cameos from 4 members of Thomas's staff: Michael Brandon, Martin Sherman, William Hope, and Sophie Cole-Quahone. I don't know how to say that last name. Hopefully I didn't butcher it.
People.
You don't know Michael Brandon? Martin Sherman, that he's one of the voice actors.
I know Michael Brandon.
Well, I wanted to shout him out. Another cameo in this film is of a musical nature, in that they don't actually appear in the film, but their music does. As noted, Disney composer Alan Menken contributed a song to the film. What Renaissance-era Disney film did Menken not write the music for? This one, we start off with Scotty. We have the options: A, The Lion King; B, Aladdin; C, Beauty and the Beast; and D, The Little Mermaid.
Gosh,
Good.
Let's see. I'd have to go with Beauty and the Beast.
You're gonna go vote for C, Beauty and the Beast.
Yes.
Roberto, what you going with?
Splendid Wolf 442 says that I should make a rap song and call himself Little Scotty.
Little Scotty. You should call the album Beam Me Up. That's what you should do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll have Taj produce it. I can have Taj produce the beat.
Honestly, I could. I've actually produced hip-hop beats before. I shouldn't probably have admitted that, but I have.
Taj, I want to talk to you about doing that later.
All right.
I want to say D.
That sounds pretty funny.
Oh, you're going with B?
D.
D. So we have a vote for Beauty and the Beast, a vote for The Little Mermaid, and in the chat of another vote for Beauty and the Beast, Percy number 6 still sticking with C. and 2 votes for A. So for Oldies, I guess there's no real way of really nailing them down. Like
Just say the winning one.
I'll say the right answer, and it's going to disappoint you, but it's The Lion King.
Oof.
The music for that was composed by Tim Rice and Elton John. And so now we're on to our final question, and it still could be a tie. And in that instance, we go to our regularly scheduled tiebreaker, which is the process of elimination.
I thought I was still ahead.
You are still ahead, but
By one.
but Scotty
Okay.
could
In the
still
case
tie
of a
it.
tie, I see. Okay.
Yeah.
Can I point something out really fast that I just
Sure.
realized?
I don't
In
know
the
if I
picture of
did
Thomas
see
in the
it.
background, he doesn't have his whistle's blue.
Yeah. Oh, is it? I'm not sure. Is it? I can't really see. Yeah, probably. Comment in the chat if he's right. I can't really tell. But here's our final question. The season 16 episode, Percy and the Calliope, featured the usage of the classic series' theme. The first usage of the classic series' theme since what episode? A. Thomas and the Tuba. 2. Thomas and the Statue. 3. Tuneful Toots. And 4. 3 Cheers for Thomas. Roberto, starting us with this one.
I'm gonna say it's 3 cheers for Thomas.
We're gonna go 3 Cheers for Thomas. Are we gonna go over to Scotty? What do you have to say?
Tuneful Toots. And
Okay.
I just lost.
Tuneful Toots, that's a horrible episode title now that I think about it. We have votes all around. 1 vote for 3 Cheers for Thomas. Percy finally breaking from his C trend. And we have 2 votes for Thomas and the Tuba. And the correct answer, well, let's start with the incorrect answer. The most incorrect answer is Thomas and the Statue, which I always found to be a very weird classification of a statue. It's more of like a panoramic bust.
Monument.
Yeah, a monument. That's the way of saying it. Which I guess is a type of statue, but it's different. It's different. To make the people in the chat mad, it's not Thomas and the Tuba. Despite that, there were lots of tuba themed episodes actually during the new era of Thomas. That's what I discovered as I was looking through the options. Which leaves us for our last 2 options, Tuneful Toots and 3 Cheers for Thomas. And I'll say this, the final episode that the original theme appeared in until season 16 was the final episode of the classic series, meaning that the correct answer is D. 3 Cheers for Thomas. And we end the round with
I have a question.
Roberto. Oh, yeah.
Was C, were any of them C? I'm just asking for Percy number 6's sake.
You got one right, I think.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
season
he
8.
also said D
Season
on this
8.
one.
Season 8, yeah. But yeah, the final score is Roberto 6 points, Scotty 4. So anyway, with that being said, our time together is coming to a close. We're going to be ending the stream in about 7 minutes. And before that, if you have any last minute questions, make sure to send them in. If not, Scotty, do you have any plugs you'd wish to make?
Well, Wooden Railway Edward just texted me and he said, "You lost on me." Well, Wooden Railway Edward, I'm telling you, I know nothing about music. I thought these questions were going to be episode questions, like you would pick a certain episode and ask questions about that.
Well,
That would be unfair to me. I haven't watched any of the episodes since I was, 15, 14.
It is the Thomas Trivia
Then why
Challenge.
is he the president if he hasn't watched a single episode of Thomas in years?
That's a
Because
good question. Let's find out this
Popularity.
Yeah.
So
Huh?
I think
Didn't
right
mention
here,
that in your campaign, huh?
I think
Didn't
Scotty,
need to.
I think Scotty's announcing his campaign right now. His candidacy, his official formal candidacy.
Roberto impeachment.
All right, man.
Roberto impeachment, I'm telling you. Oh,
Um,
guys. So I'm going to go into the I'm going to find my campaign video that I did. I'm going to put it in the chat, and everybody, I want you all to just watch that and suffer and see how bad it is.
But anyway, also make sure to follow him on at Flying Scotsman P on Twitter. He just created that a few days ago, actually. Just the day I started promoting the event, actually. So that's great. Make sure to follow him. He does lots of great stuff over there, and make sure to
I do.
also subscribe to his YouTube channel, which will be in the YouTube, in the description in a few minutes, probably. Once this live stream ends, I'll add them. Roberto, do you have anything you'd like to plug?
Absolutely not.
Oh, in that case, make sure to follow him on Twitter, subscribe to his YouTube channel. If he uploads any videos of any sorts, I know you've uploaded some air checks from the Real Don Steel and so on and so forth. There's lots of cool stuff. If you're into radio, make sure to check him out over there. And of course, Roberto's records on Thomas the Tank Engine Community Radio.
I put my campaign video on the thing.
Oh, put it in the chat?
In the chat, yeah.
Oh, yeah, you can do that.
It's unlisted. So, anyway, yeah. It's great being on. Yeah.
So I'll just add a few more things. I might repeat some things from earlier in the episode if you happen to miss. My name is Taj Mahal, of course. I'm the host of the show. My main channel for the past, my goodness, like 8 to 9 years has been TEHGJPTDDDO. And what I was going to say earlier was that Chase is just one of the most polite people in the whole community, because back when Q&A videos were in fashion, he was like one of the few people who actually like articulated every single letter, and it just meant the world to me. So I just wanted to, so I just
which Chase, like I'm from Norway.
Yeah. So I just wanted to shout him out here since I wasn't able to earlier. But now I'm also going to be moving over to another channel, which I will put in the description as well, for some other content, that being, once again, podcasts, movie reviews, vlogs, live streams, just a bunch of different stuff. I might even do one later this week. And that is Taj Mahal. Just Taj Mahal, plain and simple. You have Roberto to thank for that name. Well, I guess
time.
Yeah, it's wild. I have 2 accounts finally. I have 3 technically, but I'm not going to tell anyone about the third one because I don't want people, following it and being like because they could probably hack into it, to be honest. It's a backup just in case one of my other accounts goes down. It's my Thomas Wooden Railway fan club, or Kikwe 24 fan club. It's my equivalent to that. Additionally, there is another episode of Late and Live coming this month on January the 29th. That's a Friday. We're going to have 2 wonderful guests on as well at that time. So make sure to tune into that as well. We'll just keep glued to Twitter at Late Live of Taj to find out when that's going to go out on air. And finally, just make sure to keep on watching community radio. All the shows are fantastic. Everyone puts so much love and effort into it. And
Except for Robert's.
Robert M. Productions isn't a member here.
Except for Roberto's.
No, that's different.
But they all do fantastic work, including Roberto. He uploads air checks, and he'll probably be able to upload a few more as when I start to catch up on my surveys. Sorry.
Where's episode 10 survey? And 11.
It's gonna be 11's gonna be monumental, man.
I'm calling you out on that one because you said you'd get them done soon.
Well, I said I'd get them.
Now it's on video.
I said I'd get them done soon on a video that didn't end up getting up. And that's why I want to thank all the people on community radio just for helping me so much mentally and on so many different levels. The Supercut came out. Make sure to check that out for highlights of the past year on community radio. Another video was planned to drop, but it didn't go the way I planned it. And point being, everyone on community radio was just so helpful and loving, and I cannot thank them enough. So
And we were about to tear Taj's neck off, but that's something behind the scenes.
That's true. That's true. But I just want to say how much that means to me, and just subscribe to everyone on the channel. They're all wonderful people. And with that being said, I think it's time for the end credits. So, Lon, thank you both for joining, and thank you all for watching.
Yes, it's been a blast, Taj. Yes, Roberto, I cannot wait to roast you more in Skype DMs.
Oh boy.
Yes. Is this where we say something witty?
I guess you could, if you wish. I could sing the chicken song again.
Go ahead, do that. I wasn't here for it.
Chicken, chicken, nom 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 nom, chicken, chicken, nom 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 nom.
I have one more question.